This module is going to look at step 4 of conducting a GIA, making recommendations. The aim here is to make and justify a final recommendation based on the evidence collected and analysis conducted. Here you want to document what evidence has been used to inform your final recommendation. So all of that working out you've done in steps 1, 2, and 3 all come together to make your final recommendation. You want to draft a recommendation and provide a rationale for the solution proposed, and also consider any mitigation strategies that may be needed. So some of those mitigation strategies that you identified for risks in step 3, they can go here as well. You might want to download template 4 from the Commission's website. Template 4 supports this step, and have a look at it now. In the toolkit, there's also a checklist for you on page 35. That final checklist will make sure that you've taken all the necessary steps to apply a gender lens to your work throughout this process. So based on the evidence, what is the recommended approach? You need to consider and communicate how does this approach meet the needs of people of different genders, address gender inequality, and promote gender equality. So again, just reiterating, you want to explain that rationale for your recommendation. For example, in line with your obligations under the Gender Equality Act, how does your recommendation meet the needs of people of different genders? How does it address gender inequality and promote gender equality? So if we think a little bit about our hypothetical, casting our mind back to our hypothetical of the transport example, you want to think about the safety priorities and how those are going to be expanded to better respond to the pressing needs of women, men, and gender diverse people. So you might want to include a priority focus on building equitable, safe, and reliable public transport systems that are informed by the following measures. The fact that you collected gendered information about the use of systems, included gender disaggregated data on user experience, transit habits, and so forth. Thinking a little bit around how that is going to promote that gender equitable experience of the transport system. You might also want to think about recruitment processes and also think about what you found out in the inclusive community consultation process. Another priority focus in that example might be building safer transport systems for women, men, and gender diverse people. It might be informed by that more complete understanding of user safety, including things like, for example, the frequency of service, staff visibility, mixed gender security, overcrowding, accident rates, lighting, other security measures, and so forth. You'll then want to explain that this meets the needs of different genders. In this particular example, it might be because, but not limited to, it ensures a collection of gender disaggregated data, as well as other demographic groups, to understand the experiences and of users more accurately. You might then want to include the fact that subsequent design factors in these diverse and gendered experiences are factored in. You'll then want to sort of address very specifically how this addresses gender inequality. So in this particular example, it might be that it responds to user safety needs, particularly those of women and gender diverse people, or it addresses things like gender-based staffing inequalities in security staffing, because people might feel safer interacting with different staff. It also promotes gender equality by perhaps promoting gender equitable recruitment, gender representation in decision making, and promotes gender equitable safety considerations. So very simply, and again, just an example, but thinking for your GIAs, again, thinking through that process. If you follow this method of just making sure that you're looking at how it meets the needs of different genders, addresses gender inequality, and promotes gender equality, that really is the crux of making a recommendation. Also making sure that you make sure it comes through to implementation. So it's not enough to just have recommendations piling up on your desk and say that you've done a GIA. That's very tick a box. It's what we want to avoid. So you want to make sure your processes are in place to make sure that there's accountability for making sure that these recommendations are implemented as well. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us on this training. It was such a pleasure to take you through it, and we hope that it has made the process feel a little easier and a little less overwhelming. We want to just remind you that it's only the beginning of a process, that it's not your responsibility alone, and that hopefully you feel equipped now to think about those enabling environments to make sure that this responsibility is shared. We also just want to reiterate that the Equality Institute is here to offer support along the way. We are one of the panel of providers. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about this training or if you'd like any tailored support. Thank you so much and best of luck with your gender impact assessment journey.